Welcome, listeners, and thank you for joining us today. We have a beautiful program. We are going to lift up our voices and meet members of the Ruby Mountain Voices, our local nonprofit new community choral group. And I'd like to welcome in studio Valerie Sargent, who is president of the nonprofit organization. Valerie, what a pleasure to sit across from you today.
Oh, thank you. Glad to be here.
And you have brought with you Vice President of the Ruby Mountain Voices, Rick Whittington. And Rick, you are no stranger to the radio. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely not. And we're happy that you're having us today. So we're excited to tell you about the choir.
Yeah, so we were going to start with that. It's a new choir, in fact. But Valerie, I think you and I chatted not too long ago and said this was just an idea that was waiting to happen. So many people wanted this to happen for some time, right?
Oh, totally. Like I said, I'd like to read just a little ditty that I wrote with our Christmas program. So many of us grew up singing in school choirs, church choirs, college choirs, and professional choirs. But then life happens, and it becomes harder and harder to be part of those groups, or the groups go away for various reasons. But the part of a person that loves to sing or play music never goes away.
Oh.
And so that's been my experience. Very involved in things from my youth and through my 20s, and then moved here, had a kid, had a family, and I was still involved in church, but I was just doing music for me. And then there was an Elko community choir at one point here with Lynn Rubel and others, but then that also went away as people got older. And so through the years, the thought was always in the back of my mind, need to have a community choir. And so I went through some challenges with my health in 2021 and 2022. Totally lost my voice because of it and worked to get it back. And then this last October, the thought came to me, Valerie, what are you going to do about it? It's time to get off your tush and make something happen. So I called Connie Muir, and before I could even give her my sell point, she's like, I'm on it. I wanted to play. Let's make it happen.
Oh.
And then I called Kat Phillips, and she was the same way. But the interesting thing was that Rick saw Kat Phillips the next day after I spoke to her. And she was just like, oh my gosh. But she didn't have time to talk to him because she was busy with another choir.
So I caught up to her at one of her performances. I don't want to cut into your space here, but I've had a chance to sing in some worldwide choirs called Southern Utah Heritage Choir, which is 160 voices, and we toured all over the world. And so when I came here, I was really hungry to have a choir again, but I looked around. As a matter of fact, I lived in Reno, and we started a choir down there, a choral group called Voices of Nevada. And it worked for a while, and my wife told me we're following the grandkids, so we came up here. And it's really been inspiring because when I caught up to Kat, I said, listen, I've got this idea. I know you know a lot of the thespians in town, you know a lot of the singers. I really want to put a choir together. She said, Rick, I've been thinking about this all this time. You're kidding. We got to get together. And there's this gal, Valerie Sargent, and she's talking about this. The corroboration of it just, wow. All the limbs were bending in the right direction. And ever since that meeting that we all had, everything has just fallen in place, unbelievably. So we're blessed to have this thing going.
Well, and we're grateful that not only the two of you made those connections, but the other Ruby Mountain Voices that have since. And Valerie, just the powerful healing that you are able to experience going through something as serious as losing your voice. You have such a beautiful voice.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes.
I had cancer a few years ago. So chemo took it away. Totally took it away. And so when you're a singer, that's pretty devastating.
Yes.
And I do play the piano and the organ and the drums and stuff too, but my singing voice is very much a part of me, and I seriously had to work hard at it. And I got it back, but when I was first singing, sometimes I'd be like a teenager going through puberty, a boy, it would crack or do something.
It's an exercise,
crazy.
Yes.
I know, so I'm thankful for that reason, but being part of a choir and having everybody on the same page and singing songs, it is just a wonderful, fabulous experience. And with that being said, right now we are at 27 members. That includes the board. And the board works, obviously, in the choir. Connie Muir plays. I'm the backup for when she's playing for Chicago at the college. And both Kat Phillipson and I direct. We share that load because I don't want to direct all the time. I want to sing too, and so does Kat. And when you get stuck in the role of directing all the time, you don't get to sing.
Exactly. When you're directing the play, you don't get to act. So, yes. Yeah. Oh. So you are looking to maybe grow the membership?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Right now, we are totally looking for 2 bass voices
Yes.
to grow. We actually
we need some basses.
Are you the only one right now? Rick?
No, there's
There's 5.
Okay.
5, but they all like to say they're baritones.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So-
And then once we get that going, our goal is to grow into the 30-ish range of hopefully up to 36 members, but we have to stay balanced. So right now we have a waiting list because lots more women come forward than men, unfortunately. And so shout out to the guys out there. We need you to come and audition to see if you can be in the choir.
And this is for adults. That's important too.
Yes, adults only 18 and above.
Yes. It is important to note that we have this beautiful cultivation of the arts that's been going on in our community, thanks to people like Karen Rogers, who made sure we had a middle school choir in Elko and also in Spring Creek with High Expectations. They also are singing there at the high school as well as the choraleers. And so hopefully that gives you a good group of adults to draw from, Valerie, or people that have simply moved here like Rick did too, to find your kin.
What we find out is the same thing I found out in Reno when I talked to the head of the music department at the University of Nevada. I said, how can we get a choir started? Don't you have a bunch of musical people here? And he says, yeah, we do, and we're losing our choir members left and right. These are students that have full-time jobs. They've got full-time loads. Some are in athletics. And he said, it's so hard for these people. And it's just as hard here.
You have weekly rehearsals, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not unmanageable. I mean, obviously, you make decisions, you prioritize. Once a week sounds like a great time because singing is also a physical endeavor, right?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
physical exercise
Yes,
with
yes.
training your voice and exercising your voice so your vocal cords can sing and project better, and also your breathing from your diaphragm. Totally.
One of the things that we emphasized when we started the choir was that it has to be a committed choir. You have to know how to read music. You have to know how to carry a tune. It's not just a general, let's throw it together and hope we can sing. So it's got a really good group of people, great singers in there. As a matter of fact, one of our tenors sang for the BYU men's choir. So it's a great level of singers, and it's making it much easier to direct because now we can go through a piece of music, sight read through it, and then we can start picking it apart, and it just happens a lot quicker.
So I was one of the fortunate to be in the audience for the holiday, the Christmas pageant program that you sang at one of the beautiful churches. I think it might have been the Episcopal Church.
No, First Presbyterian.
Thank you, First Presbyterian. Sorry, Jan Peterson's church. And what a beautiful church. And you know how to fill a room with that rich sound and with just 29 members.
Well, we were actually a little bit shorter then, but we only had 6 weeks to pull that off.
Really?
Because we came together as a board in October and got our nonprofit status, and we started practice at the end of October. So we had 6 weeks to pull off 8 songs and do well.
And you did.
We did. We are so proud of our choir members and what we accomplished. And then also the support of the community. And the First Presbyterian Church was just phenomenal with offering us the support. And historically, they're a place where a lot of music events happen. The Elko Handbell, choir is there, and they also have a music program there. And the acoustics for that building are
extraordinary.
Very good.
Yes. Yeah, it was a magical time.
Just part of all the limbs bending in the right direction. I mean, that fell in place perfectly and timely also, because we were kind of scrambling. And then, the ability to, with Valerie and Kat and Connie to acquire the music. So we had to do some fundraising, it cost money.
Absolutely. Art is like everything else. It costs
Yeah.
money. So we're on the doorstep of another beautiful concert, if you will. And tell us about Festival of Hope. Is that right?
Yes, that
Okay.
is correct.
Okay.
We'd like to name our concerts.
Let's That's a beautiful theme.
I know. So as we move forward, like next year, it will be second annual Festival of Hope. But this one is about Easter and the hope that our Savior gives us, and to reach out to the community and to touch people's lives that need that uplifting music in their lives and feelings. And we also felt that way about Christmas with Festival of Peace. That's what that one was called. And we are so looking forward to it. Can we say where it is?
Oh, you can. Absolutely.
Okay.
Please. Yes.
We are going, since we are a nonprofit, we look for free venues. So we don't have to pay for that space. And this one is going to be located at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints at 3001 5th Street, North 5th Street, on April 11th at 7 p.m.
And if it is like the Christmas concert, it's free of charge.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
That is one thing that we are striving to do, to keep all of our performances free, so they are open to the community. We are family friendly, and we plan on maintaining that. And that is why we also are in the middle of our fundraising campaign right now for donations or sponsorships to maintain that ability. And another thing I'd like to stress too with that part is we are a total volunteer board. Nobody gets paid.
Right. Like many endeavors that come from the heart in our community. It's strictly donation. Yeah.
And I think that type of meaning adds a lot of, I'm searching for the word, but a lot of integral things to the board. It's to know that we're not getting paid and that we've got to travel different times and go different places, and it's snowing outside, and it's, we make all the meetings, and it's quite a group. It's a great group of people, but we all bring different talents to the table, which is really kind of nice because they've really blended well. We don't always agree on things, but we agree to disagree, and then we move on. And most of the time where we disagree, we come up with a third better solution than either of us had. So it's just been wonderful to be part of it.
Sounds like a great opportunity, again, for anybody who is interested in being part of a group, singing together, performing in public places, but also just really lifting up your heart and feeling better. Because I can tell from just looking at Rick and Valerie that they feel better because you're involved in this.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm semi-retired, so I do have a lot of time on my hands. Wow. And it has worked out very well for me. And it keeps me also occupied with, I have an accounting background. And so that's why we were able to, I took care of all the legal side of becoming a nonprofit and all the steps involved for that.
We locked her in a room and said, finish this
Yes.
for us, please.
And you did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you had mentioned this too, and I looked around at the Christmas concert and saw the diversity of people there. This is also a group, and I think, Rick, you alluded to that. Not everybody shares the same opinions, certainly, but you do share the love of music. But you have a diverse group of adults, people 18 and up, apparently.
To well into their 70s.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
These next two concerts are Easter concert, and then there's an interfaith initiative that's being done for the community, have a secular background to it. I mean, there's a faith-based issue behind it, and if you look back into the Old Testament and King David and Psalms and all the music that was part of the Gospels, it's for everybody. And I guess it's in Psalms 100, verse 2, it says, serve the Lord with gladness, come before his presence with singing. It's singing for me has always been an emotional thing. I can get wrapped up in songs real easy and just love playing them and happy, and some songs will bring a tear to your eye. Mm-hmm. But you feel it inside your soul, and that's the beautiful thing about it.
So, in fact, I have a whole sheet in front of me, beginning with April 11th, the Festival of Hope Easter concert that will be performed at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, North 5th Street area there. Then you're moving on to the Interfaith Initiative Music Celebration, which it's great to see another opportunity to see you perform. But then you have a whole list of things that take us right into the Christmas season. You've already booked.
We do. We have planned out. We had all of this planned out by the end of February for the most part. And with 4 major concerts, that's a load. And when we started back up after our Christmas break, when we passed out music, it was 17 songs that went into everybody's folder to cover through the patriotic concert. And we have a couple more that we need to add to that. But I check out other concerts in Reno and Las Vegas for community concerts. Most of them do not do a 4-concert season. Most of them do 2. Now, that being said, if you only do 2 concerts, yes, you can totally practice till you get near perfect or as close as you can get. And there's places for that, don't get me wrong, but we have felt that it's more important to be out in front of the community, because everywhere we went, starting with Festival of the Trees last year, people just stopped to listen to us. And that was like at about week 4 or 5, and we were just singing Christmas carols. And then we gave a preview of 2 songs from our concert, and people just stopped to listen. And then we had them sing along on Silent Night. Everywhere we go, we have people sing along with us on Silent Night, and people are just like, oh, that, and little kids, just to see their joy on their faces.
Yes, and that could be a theme for the entire country right now. Let's just pause, let's breathe, let's stop to listen. Let's just take that moment. So you were talking about the number of concerts. I see here 9 different engagements, and at a variety of places, as you talked about the Patriotic Americana concert, that'll be in July, and then you're making plans to perform at Sky Fair. How fun is that?
Well, they came to us, I think.
I think I know who did.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's exciting, because you could imagine the kind of uplifting outdoors type music, summertime music that you might be singing.
Well,
right?
I asked if we sing, if they'd bring the Blue Angels in, and they said they would. So
good.
No, I don't
Perfect.
know.
But that's also the beauty of it, is you're going to get this tremendous variety when you attend as an audience, and then you also get to challenge yourself by singing any different kind of music, right?
Well, that will tie in a lot with our patriotic songs.
Fun.
Is what they mostly want for that venue. And of course, singing the Star Spangled Banner and our state song, Home Means Nevada. But then we have several other songs that we're going to sing for that. And they're going to put us in a hangar and with the sound system and all that. So we're going to have a little mini concert, basically.
Nice.
Hopefully the doors will be open.
Oh, yeah.
Just lock us in there.
And then Rick is going to do the stand-up comedy show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you, Rick. Rick Whittington is here. He's the vice president of Ruby Mountain Voices, alongside Valerie Sargent, who is the president of the organization. A growing group, and they do host auditions. Is there any particular way people should go about auditioning now if they're inspired or reaching out to you, Valerie?
We do have a Facebook page that has our logo on it. So if you go to that page, there's a link about auditioning for the basses right now, and to contact Kat Phillips or myself. And our phone numbers are listed there. And I also believe our email, rubymountainvoices@gmail.com.
Okay. Super easy to find you.
Yeah, and the auditions are comprehensive, but they're not intimidating at all.
You want people to be in the group, right?
Yes,
We do.
Yes.
And we'll help them get there.
Yes. And I was just looking here. Choral music is not one of life's frills. It goes to the very heart of our humanity, sense of community, and our souls. And it is that very expression that you can get when you're part of a group as well. There are probably some other lessons you take with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very true. And that is part of a quote by John Reuter, who is very well known in the choral world. He's, I believe, 90 or 91 years old. He's from the UK. He was just awarded a knighthood here not that long ago, but he arranges so many choir songs and then also writes his own. So anybody that's been involved in choir for a long time knows John Reuter.
Mm-hmm. And so would you say that that kind of works in as part of your motto of the Ruby Mountain Voices? As Rick talked about, you may not agree on everything, but it sounds like you agree when it comes to the spirit of song.
We totally do. We do have a mission statement, but the quote from John Reuter is always up. It's on our Facebook page, and we are going to have a website that is just about ready to be up, and so people will also be able to look at us that way, and there'll be more information on to contact us also that way.
And we do know fundraising is a big part of this endeavor. You mentioned it. I'm looking at Rick because
what can we say on the radio?
well, that you obviously every contribution, whether it's small, it's a few dollars, it goes to help buy music, right?
Right, and we're looking for local businesses to contribute because we're part of the community. We're asking them to help us grow and perform. Matter of fact, we've got different levels of donations. In the top level, we'll come out and sing for you. We'll do a Christmas concert at your business. So we throw some good stuff in there.
Oh, what a great idea. Right. So the best way to reach out if you are a local business or civic leader or maybe just a family or friend and you'd love to have a little mini concert or a whole 29 voices choral performance, reach out through that Facebook page?
Yes,
Okay.
and our email account, the Ruby Mountain Voices @gmail.com.
Okay.
We do have a subgroup that does leaves and shovels snow. So
You do?
No,
Okay, I was going to say,
No,
what? That's just a new idea that kind of sprang up. Yes.
That hasn't been put in front of the board yet. So.
Oh, okay. We probably shouldn't promote that. But obviously, this fits in with what is dear to Elko because Elko just seems to really support the arts, right, Valerie?
They do.
Yes.
They do. Everywhere we performed last year, the community was so welcome and enthusiastic, and especially with involving them with singing carols or some of the Christmas hymns. And you could tell it's just been greatly missed for adults to be a part of this type of group.
You felt a hunger in there. The people wanted to be there and hear that. And, for a first concert, we packed the whole Presbyterian church. I think there wasn't sitting.
Oh, I loved being there. I don't know that I was there for the first night, but because I think there was more than one night, right?
No, we just sang once.
Okay, well, I was there, not in the front row, but I like to sit up close. So we do know that with this fundraising, there are a lot of things that it would support, and you can do it in any number of ways since you're a nonprofit, right, Valerie?
Correct, and your donations will be tax deductible.
Okay, so if you're a member, you would pay dues, it sounds like. There are sponsorships, there are grants that you might be applying for, and then people can just make donations outright.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So that's very healthy. And then let's talk about goals. We'll spend a few minutes talking about that since now you're off and running. Yes?
Yes, we are. I have brought forward some big goals based on things that I was part of when I was younger. But the first one is being an integral part of the community, in which I think we've succeeded at that. Obviously, we still have more to do. But then the next part is growing our choir to 32, 36 members because, life happens. People have to be gone or somebody gets sick. And right now where we're at for numbers, if we have someone out due to an illness, it can be missed with our singing parts. And so we want to cover that. And then, like we said, we have a young gal in the choir who is just fabulous at social media content.
Yay.
Most of us on the board are a little bit older. We do Facebook, but we don't do Instagram and all those others. And so she is setting up all those accounts and also doing our website. And another two big things that as a board, we have approved this. I shouldn't just say me. The first one is doing a mini festival. And that's like with having a choir in another community, whether I've been looking at Reno and taking like a field trip down there with the board to meet with some community choirs down there and see if they would like to participate, where we learn songs and then we go down there and perform, and that director and his accompaniment or her, they direct and we sing with them, and then by extension they come up here.
Fun.
And then, but my big goal, and a couple members thought I was a little nuts for this, but I'm just going to throw it out there, is to have a choir festival.
Why not? Yeah.
We have 160 to 200 voices in a choir, and people come from out of town for that. We have a guest conductor from one of the universities, whether it's from University of Utah or by extension Reno, and you practice your brains out for like 2 days, and then you put on a concert.
Just like the high schools do, right? When they do their honor festivals, that kind of thing?
Kind of along those lines.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Yes,
But-
totally.
yes, but for the grown-ups.
Yes.
This enhances the local economy.
That too. And I have been in contact with Michelle at the Elko
I was just going to say
Convention Center.
Perfect.
Yes, and
Already on that. Good.
she loved the idea, and I've had to kind of put it on the back burner, but that will probably happen 2026. It might be 2027, but we are definitely working towards that. And when we presented it to the choir as a group, they were excited, just like little teenagers and kids. Oh, this is so cool.
Even though we're adults, we're all kids.
Well, that's it. You love to sing, that passion, whatever ignites that fire that gets you going. And singing is certainly one of those things. Anytime you can express yourself through the arts. And this is a way to bring people together, to meet new people, certainly to share contemporary experiences, as well as maybe celebrate the legacy that you celebrate,
Absolutely.
Rick, because you brought, like you said, a lot of history to this Ruby Mountain Voices, which
Yeah.
has got to be cool.
It's an experience I had with my wife. We lived in Texas in Corpus Christi, and they had a big hurricane coming through. So we all went to San Antonio. Concurrently, they were having the National Barbershop Quartet competition there. So we're staying on about the 9th floor of the Marriott, and San Antonio's got a beautiful little river that runs through it. And we wake up in the morning, I'm thinking, great, we're going to have breakfast on the balcony. And I look down there, and there's probably 700 people down there with the conductor on the 5th floor doing Sweet Adeline.
Oh.
And it was such a magical moment. You're familiar with the Shakespeare Festival up in Cedar City, Utah. Mm-hmm. We went up there to see one of the plays, and on every corner they had people in costumes. They were just roaming the city, looking around. I think we could bring that kind of fervor to Elko, where it's a happening, like the poetry festival. We could make this big enough to really enhance the community.
Well, what a great idea. I mean, and you just reminded me, and this is what Valerie said, is that one of the goals of Ruby Mountain Voices is to collaborate with the community. And we have things like Renaissance Fair, and of course with the musical Chicago that's going on at Great Basin College right now. As you mentioned, some of your talent is being lent to that production. Connie Muir is the pianist with a live band that they have going on. But there are all kinds of opportunities for Ruby Mountain Voices to lend to these live performances. Valerie, how exciting. We just now need to get the word out and get people to reach out to you guys, right?
Oh, we do. And as I mentioned to you earlier, I'm from Montana, and there's an international choir festival that happens in Missoula with the University of Montana. It has been going on for decades. Now, that is an audition type choir festival, and that excludes a lot of people. Sometimes auditions are needed for things, but they have people come internationally to that festival. My sister has been a part of that. And they have people from Japan or choirs in Finland and all over. Now, obviously, I don't think we're going to get that big on the first go around.
The first go around, but let's give it some time.
I know. But with starting with towns and communities through Nevada and maybe into Utah that are close to us, I think this can happen.
Definitely. And our midday flights are returning at the Elko Regional Airport, which makes it easier to travel, certainly. During the summers, you can, I know like a lot of theater, music people are used to piling on a bus if you want to and come on out that way.
Sure.
Yes, you can make it very affordable to come here. And so all we need for this kind of experience is just to raise more awareness and raise some more money, right, Valerie?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
totally.
All right.
Totally. And get a sponsor or several sponsors for that. And then also grant writing. I have had experience with that, and so we have to start
Good.
ramping up on that.
Get you in touch with the Nevada Arts Council.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. There are some wonderful agencies and organizations. Well, I want to make sure just in the time that we have left that we covered all the bases. Rick, I really appreciate you sharing the personal experience and the joy that you feel in being part of the Ruby Mountain Voices.
Yeah, it's a tremendous experience. If you haven't, or if you're interested in it, I highly recommend it. As we said, we're looking for some lower tonality, some basses, but other than that, we're well balanced, and we just sing a little louder till we get our our people back in. So
Turning up the personal volume there.
Yeah.
So, and Valerie, anything that I maybe neglected to ask you that you want to make sure people are aware of about Ruby Mountain Voices?
No, I think we have covered that very well about our beginnings and what our goals are and for being an integral part of the community. And we are very thankful for that within the community.
Thank you, Valerie, so much. Both Valerie and Rick, they are board members for the new nonprofit, which is, again, just about you performed for the first time in December. So
Yes.
yeah, and you've already got 9 performances ahead of you this year in various locations.
Yes, and maybe even more. Like Rick mentioned earlier, we may have smaller groups of singers that go out into the community because there's several people that are semi-retired, retired. Others obviously have full-time jobs, but going out into the community for smaller events with a smaller amount of singers, that's also something that's going to be developed.
Ruby Mountain Voices is our new choral group in the Elko community, led by Valerie Sargent as president, of course, vice president Rick Whittington, and their Easter concert is coming up Friday, April 11th, 7 to 8 p.m., the North 5th Street LDS Church, free admission, as I'm sure most, if not all, these performances will be. But please do, if you can contribute, that will go a long way to help future performances and to pay for some of the big dreams that I know will come true, right?
Yes.
All
there
right.
you go. Yeah.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
Thank you, listeners, for joining us today. What an exciting program. Ruby Mountain Voices. Find them on social media platforms.